Hi, welcome back to Ideas at Work and Beyond. Tonight's program is talking about building Danbury into a music city. It's a continuing conversation of a previous show we aired about a month ago, and I also want to invite you to join us every month at the last Thursday of each month, where we'll be talking about downtown Danbury and creating downtown Danbury into a music city. Tonight my guests are Bob Garcia from the Ice Arena, Tony Yacobelis from Cousin Larry's, and Pete Walworth from Hat City Entertainment. So what should we talk about next?
Oh, I don't know.
I also want to invite callers to call in, 792-4101. We're having a conversation of how to build Danbury into a music city, and we would need your input to be able to carry on that conversation.
Absolutely.
One of the things that keeps coming up in any discussion of downtown, I think, is the perception of downtown Danbury. And I know that I feel from people from outside the community sometimes have the misunderstanding that Danbury is not a safe place. And I can personally vouch for the safety of Danbury, having early on in the beginning of my position, which I started towards the end of February, I miscommunicated with one of my staff members, and neither one of us locked the office from Friday at 2 o'clock until we went back on Monday morning, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. The office was wide open. The computers were available. There was anything anyone could have wanted from that office, and there wasn't anything. And you can vouch for downtown Danbury safety as well.
Well, I was born in Danbury Hospital, so apart from me leaving for college for a small stint and living in New York City for about 6 years, I've been here all my life. And that, in terms of the 21 and up bar scene thing, I've been doing that for about 10 years around this area. And yeah, I can't recollect one unsafe thing that's happened to me or
anyone you know.
I can say the same thing. I also was born in Danbury Hospital. I can say the same thing. I've known the city a long time, but never really been afraid to go downtown. Obviously, the demographics changed. It's become more and more ethnic. I don't know whether that plays or not. It doesn't play into some public's perception. I look at the ethnicity as a bonus, as definitely a sign of the times. More, some alternative cultures coming into a city are good, as far as I'm concerned. To bring up something else that plays into public perception, though, and I'm going to go out on a limb and hopefully not offend anybody, anybody downtown.
Go out on a limb.
I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit, and you mentioned at the last show that you called. I'm not sure who it was, but they gave you an overlay map of violent crime.
For 2006, had all the crime calls.
And it was virtually non-existent.
Virtually non-existent.
Okay. And when I go downtown Danbury on a weekend night, I see, and once again, I'm hoping not to step on anyone's toes here, but I see a police presence that is absolutely overwhelming. Cars on the green, lights flashing, rows of police in uniform. I am not at all opposed to police presence. Of course, I believe we need them to keep the city safe. I think they do a great job generally, but sometimes I wonder if there's a different presentation that could be put out there.
I think so, and it's actually something that I've been in discussion with the police officers. City Center does have a police liaison. His name is Sonny Usher, and that is something that I brought up because it is something.
A level of subtlety.
Right, because what I always think about in my position is what's the impression of downtown Danbury when you're coming downtown for the first time.
You see red and blue lights.
Right.
If you're coming out of a restaurant or you're coming out of a club, maybe you've had a glass of wine, maybe you've had two, maybe you've had more. But if you come out and you see a sea of 10 to 15
and I'm not talking about changing the police presence.
No,
maybe just presenting it differently. Also, I've spoken with 30-something-year-olds with children and families that we've put together the occasional show that's the kind of crowd it attracted, and I've heard it from them. So I mean, perhaps it's considered to be.
The perception isn't safety. The perception is what's about to happen or what's happened in the past.
Absolutely, it makes them nervous, and certainly that's a clientele we want to attract downtown. Yeah. And if they're getting nervous, then maybe we need some reexamination.
I think they've pulled back a little bit. I know part of that presence was in response to a incident that happened in February, and where they started what's called the holdover. They hold over one shift as another one comes on.
Okay.
I think also if you want to call it part of the problem, is that the police actually like hanging out
Yeah.
downtown on the Green. I mean, it's a great place to hang out. If you're on I Street, if it's later in the evening, it is. It's bustling.
Sure,
there's a
and
lot of
you see them saying
energy.
heads up to the bartenders.
I
and
mean,
yeah.
they know everyone.
Right.
It's not a bad place to hang out, but it is something that
So
we've
maybe
been
take
in
away a few red and blue white lights, you stick the cars behind a bush
Yeah.
somewhere, and then problem
right,
solved.
or you have more bike patrol, and you have
Yeah.
a less
Right,
overwhelming
right.
presence, or they
Just a
leave the
thought.
car somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, because
That's a great
if when you see the lights and stuff, the perception of people is that something bad is happening, even though nothing might be going on.
Sure, so
Yeah,
something bad has
exactly.
You
been
start
happening.
seeing a
yeah.
lot of that, then all of a sudden you start saying, oh, there must be a lot of problems. In a sense, it
Right,
might just be the
right.
presence, but the subtlety is very important. Like,
Like-
you go to
It's
New York
the
City, and there's a
perception.
lot of, but they're very subtle in their presence, and that helps because yeah, obviously there's a place that puts on a lot of events. There's a lot of people.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's all goes to, because we're all part of this whole entertainment thing, the police, the fire, everybody is sort of sharing in this, bringing in these people and making it so they feel like, I want to come back.
Right.
Right. I
and
mean,
yeah,
the people
so-
that service the community are part of the community too. So
Yeah.
it's
Because their experience
something
might be,
that they work towards.
yeah, their experience might be great at the venue, but if they had
Right.
a bad part with something else, a part of the experience, whether it's parking or whatever,
Right.
they'll say, hey, you know, geez, it wasn't as, you know what,
As
it was really a
best
lot
as
more
it could
trouble
be.
than it was worth. Even though I really loved the show, the parking was a nightmare. But you know, I think we have a lot of great things here to make it so all those pieces of the puzzle that make it like we want to go back again are all there, and just again the whole team effort working
Yeah,
together and
this
realizing
is the first step, I guess, having a chat about it.
Yeah.
We do have a call. Hi, thanks for holding. What's your question?
Hey, Andre, what's up? It's Justin again.
Hey,
Yes,
Justin. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
We got cut off last time.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yes.
So what's on your mind?
What's up?
What's on your mind?
No, pretty much just when I was echoing on the point of just that XCI is just, you know, willing to work with whatever you guys are willing to work with. We'll try to do whatever, especially with the help of Comcast, help you guys out. What have you guys been discussing? I heard that Sean Paul, I was reading the article today with Hat City Entertainment that Sean Paul may be a possible entertainment commodity. What's up with that?
Yeah, well, I can let Bob speak to that, but there is a local production company, promoters, local
Promoter,
promoters.
yes.
Trying to get the words right.
Blackhawk.
Blackhawk Productions that's working on that. But go ahead, Bob, you can speak to that.
Yeah, that's one of the artists that we're looking to bring in. I mean, I think what they're doing is looking at a number of different artists for different size venues. And, you know, within what we have here, obviously we're not looking for certain people that are looking for 10 to 12,000 seat facilities. But, again, it's part of the diversity of acts that we're trying to look in, from not only musical but also a comedy and some other stuff that we're looking to not limit ourselves as far as what we can do. Because of the diverse community, there is a chance to bring a lot of different things in. So I think all those things are in the talking to stages right now, but those are the kind of people we're looking to bring here, so people don't have to go to Hartford or Bridgeport or New York City in order to see some of these people. They can come home from work, and a lot of these people do work in the city, not to get back on the train or stay over, but just be able to go home and then go to the show and then still be home at a reasonable hour. So
I think that's a great idea. You're trying to incorporate a actual town demographic culture into everything. One of the main things that we want to do down at XCI is create a world music program. Like I was saying, the people that give me a ride home from WestCon to URI, they're part of putting on music, world music. It's very educational, good stuff, but so that's going to be something to look into too. I mean, there's a larger market out there, so that's something that we're looking to do down at XCI as well. But I don't know who was just commenting on that question, but one artist that you might want to look for, or two artists, is this guitar duo called Rodrigo y Gabriela. Have you had a chance to listen to them at all?
no, not at all, no.
Is anyone familiar with them?
No.
Well, I'll make this short because I know you guys' time is limited, but these two guys, Rodrigo y Gabriela, oh, not two guys, girl and I, Rodrigo y Gabriela, have influences from Metallica, Slayer, and they're on Spanish guitar. So it's a great cultural experience, and we're going to be looking to push them on XCI, but I know you guys' time is short, so I'll just leave it at that.
Are they local, or do they tour nationally, internationally?
What happened was they started off in Mexico City. They went to Ireland. They're #1 in Ireland, and they had a killer performance at at the Bonnaroo Festival in Tennessee. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's a 3-day festival in Tennessee. I've had numerous people that went down to the festival say that Rodrigo y Gabriela completely killed it. And these two artists they're not vocal artists, they're guitar flamenco, and I think there's a market out there for world artists, especially, along that nature.
Yeah, well, those are definitely things like offline too. We can talk about like anything, any input you guys have, because at this Bob Garcia from the Danbury Arena, anything that we can bring in to the facility, since we're so close to you guys, we would love to like entertain that possibility or find a suitable venue in the town that could hold it if it's something we couldn't hold at that time of year.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's one of the biggest parts is just like, bringing everybody together. Like right now, XCI is in a state right now where we don't have the manpower, but give us a month, once when the school semester starts, we should have the manpower to, do things like that. But right now, we're not at the manpower to do that. But, give us a month, and like I said, I think everybody working on this committee that's on television right now and helping with us could bring a lot of good acts throughout the Danbury area, especially, like I was saying, that XCI is the third greatest college station in Connecticut and Rhode Island. So, like I was saying, that I was talking to the record company in terms of setting up a promotional tour going through XCI and RIU, Boston, New York, blah, 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 blah.
Well, you got to make sure you include us in those conversations so we can really roll it out for the record company.
Exactly, Andrea. And, we're going to do that, but these are extreme preliminary talks. I'm going to send an email, but like I said, XCI's got to get their legs underneath them before they can do anything else. But once we can do some other things, we should be good.
So we have a commitment from you, right, Justin?
You can comment me on that, and you have a commitment on my own. But when I get the manpower behind me, we can start putting these ideas in action. So I appreciate the television time. Shameless promo, September 11th, USA TV Talk Show. I'm on the network and on XCI, so I will be talking to everybody probably soon.
Okay. Well, we'll wait to hear what you have to say.
2 to 4 minutes, right? Just kidding.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good rest of the show, and I'll be talking to everybody when I get a chance to.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Justin.
Have a good day.
All right.
That was great.
I think that's it too. It's like once you start getting people, it'll have a ripple effect of other people, because these agents typically have other people on their rosters, and they'll say, "Oh, this was great," Tony was great, and this is an act that's sort of in the same vein, and it'll just lead to other activity, and that's the whole thing. Like,
and promotion is huge. Promotion is absolutely one of the biggest parts of it. If you're going to try to drag people in from out of town.
Yeah.
Now, as it is, the highway system doesn't exactly spit you out in Danbury.
Right away.
Right
Although
away.
the corridor has cleaned up quite a bit in the last 4 to 5 years.
Speaking of the Route 7 corridor.
No, I'm thinking Exit 5, the route
Sure.
30.
I just, to me, I always wish there was an easier route from Lower Fairfield up, which,
yeah.
Obviously we're not here to talk to
It's so special. Is that we are sort of cut off
there's
from
somewhat isolation in that regard. Yeah, could.
Yeah, a bit of a Yankee ruralism.
Right.
We do have another call. Hi, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, hi, I just have a question. I'll hang up after I ask it. Now that Danbury has reduced the amount of patrolling police officers around the city, how do you expect it to be safer if we have less police officers out there?
Are you talking specifically about downtown?
Yeah, well, yeah, be downtown. I was just wondering about that.
Well, I think that there might be a miscommunication there. I think that we were talking about the police presence as being a problem in perception, not necessarily a problem in safety. So I think.
Are you citing information that we haven't really discussed?
You might have misunderstood what we said.
Did Danbury reduce the patrols? Are you telling us that, or?
Yeah, I heard recently to reduce the amount of patrollers around the city. So I'm just wondering how do we expect it to
You aware of that?
be safe?
I think there was something in the newspaper fairly recently, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I do know, because I have had conversations with Chief Baker, is that for a city the size of Danbury, it's incredibly safe. I mean, our police really do a wonderful job with the resources that they have. I think they're more than well deserving of their new facility that they're getting over on North Main Street. And I don't think that a reduction in patrolling, whether it's downtown or any part of the city, is going to compromise the safety of the citizens in Danbury. My experience with the police is that wouldn't even...
Could there possibly be another misperception that City Center has that kind of control? That you guys are related to City Hall in that regard?
I think
some people have that misperception.
Yeah, there is, we're a quasi-governmental organization. We do receive some funding from the city. We do administer a tax on the property owners downtown. So there is sometimes a misperception that we are related to City Hall. I mean, we have to work in partnership with them by all means, and we're relying on them for a lot of services.
You're also subject to their guidelines in general as far as police presence and patrols at your events, right?
Right. I mean, we do. When we do events, we have to go through the necessary permitting processes. We got to make sure that we check out everything with the police and the fire department. One thing, Bob and I have had meetings with police and fire and parking authority when we were first discussing the possibility of opening up the arena to performance events. And those conversations have gone really well. I think you've had a wonderful working relationship with the fire marshal, with the police, and permitting, and...
Yeah, because it was a new thing, because anytime you're dealing with that, obviously you're dealing with people in the venue in a different capacity, and the ability that if something were to go wrong, that their safety and they're exiting the venue, and just make sure all things are taken so the experience does not have any bad parts to it. But yeah, we actually had some great meetings, and it really moved a lot of stuff along the way of moving it from just a strictly one-dimensional venue into a multi-dimensional venue. And it was just really everybody sitting around the table talking and working things out and discussing what things had to be a little bit different in order to get this. And so it was actually, yeah, it was actually very good. And I think that the whole relationship really just keeps getting better as far as just the willingness to say, okay, we want to do this. Okay, what do we have to do? And then everybody's sort of getting together, talking. So no one's trying to slip anything by or not taking everything into account as far as the safety of the people coming into the venue for whatever we're putting on for them. So
yeah, I think that's always forefront on their mind. And also, I think, not having been born in Danbury Hospital, but arriving in Danbury, I think, when I was 3 days old, so I'm old.
That counts.
And growing up in this area, there's a lot of people who are part of the city services and the city government that also are longtime Danburyites.
Yeah.
So they want to see downtown flourishing. Everyone has a special memory of downtown growing up, and I think we're all on the same page when we want a revitalized, vibrant, strong economy downtown.
yeah, actually, that's one thing that's funny, because when I first got here, and I wasn't born at Danbury Hospital, Dover General in Dover, New Jersey, but like so not very close to here, but was the fair that you guys used to have here where the mall now stands. And I love old pictures and going to and seeing all the old the fairgrounds and how that was all set up, and that there was real history there that is sort of now in these little photos they have, or these big photos, but in the back hallways of the mall. But you know, that's part of the entertainment world.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the history and the legacy
I
of
think it's
here.
part of the psyche of Danbury.
Yeah.
We do have another call. Hi, thank you for calling.
Yes, hi, how are you today?
Very good. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks. Just have a quick question. Just wondering, what are you guys going to do with the old Palace Theater on Main Street, or what is left of it?
Okay, that's a pretty direct question. No one here at the table really has control over what's done at the Palace Theater. That theater is in private hands.
Okay.
So it's really up to the property owner to determine what to do with that. I've had conversations with the property owner, and there's some things in the works, but nothing really specific at this time.
Definitely a good question, though.
But a very good question, and I'm working on hopefully maybe devoting a show to that.
Huh?
What would you like to see happen with the Palace Theater?
Well, just something that people can use. Something either
There we go. That's very good. Thank you.
Enough said.
Yeah, simple, but
an
exactly.
arcade place for kids,
Yeah.
something that's not a rundown piece of crap.
An arcade
Empty.
place for
We need
kids would be
something
great.
that people can use.
Agreed.
Well, thank you. What's your favorite part of Danbury, if I can ask you? Do you spend time downtown?
A little bit. I like, I mean, I'm more of a recreation person. I like the park. I love Rogers Park. That's probably my favorite part, going to Danbury Westerner games. That's my favorite part of Danbury.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. The Westerners are is a small jewel in Danbury that
Sure.
really more people should be aware of and attend and support.
Definitely, definitely.
Well, we appreciate your calling. Thank you.
Sounds
Thank
right.
you. Bye.
Can I jump in real briefly about
Yes.
the fair? Because obviously, I remember the fair. I've been to the fair.
Yeah.
I was probably 9 when they tore it down, but I've always had a little fantasy regarding the fair, and that's that the fair gave way for centralized shopping, which is a trend obviously, and was a big trend then. Probably made sense as far as traffic engineering. You can't have everybody going through the downtown, or it's going to be gridlock all the time. It makes sense to centralize your shopping outside of the downtown. So it had an effect on downtown, though. The building of the fair, taking some of the commerce out. Like you mentioned,
You mean as the mall? when
as
it
the
came
mall,
between the mall. Yeah.
it affected downtown for sure. And you mentioned this energy that still exists around here. Did you mention
Like
that?
a psyche, I said
yeah,
a
like a
psyche.
psyche. And
Yeah,
I
like
always
Danbury
felt like
psyche.
we're not talking ancient history here. We're talking 25 years ago. So this great event that happened for something like 130 years, one of the biggest fairs in the entire country, is usurped by centralized shopping, which has a detrimental effect in some ways to the downtown of the city. It seems to me like to complete the equation, you take that psyche and you put it into the downtown city.
Yes.
That's
and
my
it's something, and I
perception
think
of the
that's
site.
part of this
Yeah.
discussion. It's also something this year's Taste of Danbury. We're going to bring some elements in about the Danbury Fair. We're working with the Danbury Museum and Historical Society to do some displays. We'll have something to display at the Ice Arena. Hopefully be able to put something up for, not sure where the location is for. We have these wonderful panoramic sheets on metal.
Cool.
That kind of have a WPA feel to them that are being housed at the museum right now.
Yeah.
And the Taste of Danbury is September 8th and 9th this year. It's a Saturday and Sunday. It's, as it always is traditionally, the weekend after Labor Day. We will be going from 12 to 8 on Saturday, 12 to 7. There's music. We have a lot of local bands. We're opening Saturday with the New Hope Gospel Choir. We also have Peter Spink and Friends, Doug Wahlberg, and who's opening for Eddie Money, who's the big headliner this year. And on Sunday, we will have traditional Sonny Carroll and his band, orchestra, and a local Brazilian group, Idelicia, who plays locally. There's going to be lots of different foods available. We have Jamaican foods. We're going to have some Polish foods, the traditional foods that we usually have there. And lots of things for the kids to do. But we are trying to bring sort of this fair element into it. We're coordinating a classic car show with a motorcycle exhibit that'll also be right across from the arena. And I'd love to see something build up more. This year we will have on Saturday White Street closed from Main until Delay. And hoping that just the crowds will come down, people will continue to support the revitalization of downtown Danbury. So we're just about out of time. So I can go around the room. Anyone want to broadcast anything
Yeah,
coming up?
I'll broadcast my website if I could.
Broadcast your
And
website.
there's plenty of information on Taste of Danbury up on my website too. Of course, the city center,
It might be-
danbury.org would be the
Well, no, I think your website might be
okay, even better. So www.hatcityentertainment.com.
Okay.
That's all I want
And
to
I'd
say.
like to say that cousin Larry Stremiello is running for zoning commission this year.
Oh,
So
get the vote
get
out.
out and vote.
Get the vote out.
Get the vote out.
And we're DanburyIce.com, and you have all our special events, plus all the other stuff going on downtown that we're somehow involved with, and we're trying to get involved with more stuff. And hopefully, I love the idea of sort of bringing the pageantry and the fun and excitement of the fair, which was such a notable part of Danbury, back into a little bit of the fabric of what we're trying to do downtown. So,
Great.
Good night. Thank you
Good night.
very much for tuning in.
A man can more than just survive. 'Cause here there ain't nothing happening at all. Say goodbye to the harbor lights. There's just no reason to stay no more. Nothing to lose and nothing to gain. So I'll just just be sailing under the fog and the wind and the rain. It used to be